Welcome to the How to Create a P&L Statement video. In this video, we will take a look at how to create a P&L statement with a focus on loading the P&L header information using interval match and displaying the P&L report in an appropriate format. So before we begin, let's define what a P&L statement is. A P&L statement measures a company's sales and expenses during a selected period of time. It allows the company to determine if they have made money or lost money during a selected time frame. A company can use a P&L statement to view how the revenue is transformed into the net income. So let's set the scene for this video. Company ABC wants to be able to see their profit and loss in one chart for various time frames. They have the P&L heading they would like to use in an Excel spreadsheet, but they need to determine how they can translate that and their financial data into a QlikView chart that looks like this. In this video, let's assume the current date is December 17, 2011. Before beginning, let's take a look at the data model and how we loaded the P&L headings that the company wanted to see in the P&L statement. Here is an illustration of the data model. Here we can see 6 tables. The account master table stores the various financial accounts. The account balance table stores the transactions made against the accounts. The month table is an inline table that stores the month for the financial periods. The executive profit loss table stores the P&L headings that are to be used in the P&L statement, as well as flags to indicate spaces, which will be blank rows, and calculated rows. The Executive Profit Loss 2 table stores the reporting code which corresponds to the P&L start and end for each row in the P&L statement. And last, we have a synthetic table, and in this case this synthetic table is okay. It was created as a result of the interval match used in the script. This table stores the start and end for the rows displayed in the P&L report. Now let's take a look at the script. First, we load the month inline table. Then we will load the account balance table. To load the P&L report data, the account master table has to be loaded first. Next, an inline table was joined to the account master table to add the reporting code 2 num field to the account master table. Then the profit and loss reporting data was loaded. The final step was to perform the interval match in order to indicate a start and stop point for calculating the various P&L categories. This step is what created the synthetic key table, but what it also provided was the format as to how the rows in the P&L statement should be added and displayed. So if we look at this table here, the executive P&L level field stores an S to flag rows that should be blank. The executive P&L calculation field stores a C if a calculation needs to be performed. Let's take a closer look at what's happening here. Net sales is a sum of gross sales, sales return, off-invoice discounts, and sales promotions. Total cost of sales is a sum of cost of sales, warehousing, and freight and delivery. Gross margin is the net sales minus total cost of sales. Total operating expenses is the sum of selling expenses and general and administrative. Operating income is the gross margin minus the total operating expenses. Net income loss is the operating income minus the non-operating expenses. So let's see how the executive PL start and executive PL end fields work to define the format and calculations for the P&L statement. The sum of these 4 rows make up the net sales. Net sales is calculated by summing rows with a start of 1 through 4. Thus, it has an executive PL start of 1 and an executive PL end of 4. This pattern continues for all the rows. Rows that are not a calculation start and end with the same number, while the calculation fields have start and end numbers that indicate the range to total. Now the data model is created and the creation of the P&L statement can begin. There are a few variables added to aid in creating the P&L statement, so let's take a quick look at these. The first is the V year-to-date year variable. This stores the maximum fiscal year, Second is the variable for the max year-to-date month, and this stores the maximum fiscal month. Now let's begin to create the P&L chart. First, let's create list boxes for fiscal year and month. Now let's create a straight table with the dimension Executive P&L heading, we're going to check the Suppress when value is null checkbox. And in the text format for this dimension, we want to add this expression so that all the P&L headings are bold. Now let's add our expressions. We're going to add 7 expressions. So the first expression is going to show our actual. So this displays the maximum year-to-date amount if no month selections are made, and the month amount of the maximum year if month selections are made. We will add our label. We want to include the year in our label, so we're going to use the variable year-to-date year. We're going to add our expression. Now for the text format of this expression. If the row is a calculation row, we want to bold it. So we're going to add an expression to do that. And we want to set our total mode to no totals. Now we're going to add our next expression, which will show the budget. This displays the maximum year-to-date budget amount. Again, we'll add a label, our definition, our text format. Our third expression is the variance, and this displays the year-to-date variance percentage between the actual amount and the budget amount. Now to make our chart a little easier to read, we're going to add an empty column. So we will just add a space in the label and definition fields. And we're just going to make the background color the same as the column heading color, as well as the text color, just so it kind of blends nicely. Our next expression is the actual month to date. This displays the month to date amount for the maximum possible month year or maximum month year selected. Again, we're going to add our label, definition, text format. In the label for this expression, we're also going to use the max year-to-date month variable so that we can see not only the year, but the month that the data is showing. Our next expression is the budget month to date. This displays the month to date budget amount for the maximum possible month year or maximum month year selected. Our last expression is the variance month to date. This displays the month to date variance percentage between the actual month to date amount and the budget month to date amount. Now the key to ensuring that the P&L headings display in the correct order is to sort the chart by the P&L heading in their original load order. On the Presentations tab, we are going to check the Wrap Header Text checkbox so that the header height is taller. Visual cues can be added if desired. In this case, we're just going to make variance red if it is less than or equal to 0. And then here on the number tab, we're just going to add some format to our actual and budget expressions, giving them a money format. And then to the variance expressions, we are going to fix that with one decimal place, and we're going to show it as a percentage. At this point, the P&L statement is complete. We can see the P&L for December 2011, and the data changes accordingly if we make selections. In this video, we reviewed the steps to creating a P&L statement in QlikView 11, focusing on creating the executive profit-loss table that stores the P&L headers and designing the chart so that the P&L is formatted similar to what you would find in a P&L report. The beauty of doing this in QlikView is the ability for the user to select the time frame they would like to see in the P&L statement and instantaneously see the values. Thank you for taking the time to view this video.